look,
Venmoing the right
it's like
person.
you're not even professional. You're more professional than I am half the time.
Yeah. At least you try stuff.
I know things aren't going quite as planned, but yeah, they're going. There's a bunch of people over there. It's mostly clothes sellers, I think. So I think we're the only like item sellers over here. Yeah, it hasn't officially started yet. It should have started in like 10 minutes, but I've made $5 so far. I don't know if we're the right market for VHS, as many as I have. I'm very VHS heavy, so we'll see how things go. Hey guys, I'm back from a trip to Chicago and Milwaukee via train. It was very fun. But yeah, I came back like last weekend on Sunday, and I finally ready to do a video. Again, so many videos come into my mind and I can't create as fast as I can think of videos. I'm sure that's everyone's case though. And especially the editing takes me forever. But anyway, we have a new video. I wanted to follow up on my last pop-up market because I kind of like put a lot of work into it, and it was very, spoiler alert, it was very, very successful. And I just kind of want to, I guess recently, I'm kind of looking for other people who are doing pop-ups. Because I'm looking for people who are doing pop-ups, I figured there might be people out there who are also looking for that kind of content. And I don't have perfect content, I know that. Other people are much better at recording the setup and breakdown and everything and kind of in between, but I just kind of do what I can do. But I did get a lot more footage of this past one, and I thought I'd share that to you. So I'm gonna kind of intersperse that with me kind of talking about the situation that, or you know, the pop-up in general. I do have some notes here, so if I keep looking to my right, that's what's happening. The event was called Thrift Yard, and it's the first one that this bar has ever had. You had to be 21 to get into the bar, but there was no vendors inside of the bar. Everything was outside, so you could be any age, even kids came. And so that was great. We got kind of a younger audience, and definitely I find the younger audience is definitely going out there and trying to find vintage, doing, you know, reusing clothes. And so it was kind of hard to price because they've never done this before. So I'm thinking, okay, if people are going to be out there looking for vintage clothing, should I price these up? And I think I did have a lot of my clothes were a little bit too cheap. I'll go into that in a minute though. It was, when was it? It was 6 to midnight, which is kind of a marathon, right? Like pop-ups usually don't run that long and to midnight. Especially the ones that I see on YouTube or whatever. They're usually like in the day or whatever. But it kind of sets this pop-up apart, I guess. But also I didn't know, okay, are people going to be running around drunk buying things, which might have happened. I don't know. I didn't see anybody like wasted drunk, but I was thinking, okay, once people start drinking, are they going to stop shopping? And I will tell you if that happened a little bit later. But first I want to kind of get into like what happened during it. So I was extremely nervous once I got, even though I wasn't before, I was just really nervous once I got there, because suddenly I felt like no one was gonna buy anything. I was like, oh no, I think I have the wrong stuff. But I think what sent me like really over the edge, I would have been fine. In fact, everything was fine. I think every time I have any kind of pop-up, my anxiety is just high. I think I get a little bit snippy, which I always feel terrible about. I'm just like, you know, we got to do this. Okay, can you do this? Can you do this? I'm talking to my husband. I need to kind of chill out on that in the future. I need to just be like, who cares? And honestly, even I don't really care. Before the event, usually I don't care. If I make $100, that's great. I don't have to make a lot of money especially when for this I only paid $15 to get into the market itself. So it's not like I have to make tons of money. So I don't know. I just want like my presentation to be a certain way, and I just want people to look at it. But I made some mistakes for sure, and that's one of them. Is just to not be so anxious before the pop-up. I don't know. I remember seeing people passing by, especially like young people. And when I say young people, I mean like early 20s to early 30s maybe. It was just a younger crowd that I'm usually selling to at, say, like the Dead Media Market, which is an older like vinyl music. Like they're really into music, they're really into movies, that kind of crowd, which is more like, there's a lot of younger people at those too, but they're more like 30 to 50-year-olds. At this thrift yard, which was mostly clothing sellers, I was one of the few people who I did have a rack of clothes, but I had mostly hard goods in front of me. So I have an 8-foot table with hard goods. I had CDs, I had stickers, I had some magazines, and then I did bring my magazine rack. So when I first got there, I set up, because I thought I had all of this space. And in fact, we were trying to scoot over for my friend. Actually, one of my best friends was selling there too, and she ended up right by me, because the person who was putting together the market kind of knew we were friends. And so he put us right by each other. So I was so happy about that. I didn't even know she was doing it, because she told me she was gonna do it, but I didn't know she was actually doing it till like a couple days before. And I was like, yay, we're gonna be able to talk together and everything. So we helped her set up, because she was by herself. And then I started setting up, and I'm like, oh wow, I have all of this space. And then maybe an hour and a half into the setup, like 30 minutes before the event starts, the other vendor gets there, and we realized it was my fault. I was taking up a lot of his spot. I thought he was going to be on the other side, because another vendor was going to be on the other side of the door, and so there's a big empty space right there on the other side of the door. I thought that's where this vendor was going to be, and in fact, he was gonna be right by me. And so I had everything set up or whatever, and then I'm like, oh no, I gotta move over, you know. I felt so bad. That was totally on me. I squished over. Our tables were kind of like together, and so some people were like, oh, I need to pay you for this, and you know, his table was of course separate, so there's a little bit of confusion, but it wasn't really too bad. But yeah, so my anxiety was even higher. I was like, oh no, I feel so bad because I took over this guy's area. But it ended up being, he's a really cool guy, this vendor. I've seen him several times before. I knew him from the other shows that I do, so it was very cool. I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so I am glad that so I have like this I call it a generator. I don't know what you actually call it, but it basically, you can plug all your, it has USB ports on it. It's basically like a portable power bank or whatever, but you can also plug things into it. So I brought a lamp and I plugged that into it, and thank God I did. I meant to bring 2 lamps. I only remembered 1. And it illuminated like my CDs, so people weren't having to get their phones out. That was really nice. Okay, it slowed down quite a bit. We got Blake over there and Lucy. It slowed down a lot. I sold all my Playboys. I am down to the 2 wooden holders for my CDs. I'm watching this vendor's stuff while he's gone, and yeah, I still have a lot of VHS. Probably not the best market for it, but that's okay. I will eventually get rid of those. I'm surprised nobody got these Monopoly things. There's a couple things I'm kind of surprised have not sold, but that's okay. We're doing all right. Now I will try to update later. There's big crowd, and like in the back it's even bigger. There's tents over there. Because I could not count on electricity too much, so I really needed that giant power bank, and I need to charge it for the next one. So yeah, I used up 6 hours. You can use up a lot of the battery on those things. Yeah, it got totally dark. I mean, we set up in the light, but it was like totally dark. We had a little bit of light above us, like those, string lights or whatever, but it wasn't enough to really illuminate everything. The other thing I had was like these little Christmas white lights or whatever, twinkle lights, are kind of small, and I just strewn them across my table. I think that really helped also. So once I set up though, I had a bunch of VHS. I had a video kind of recently that was showing off the VHS that I got in a lot that I bought off somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and I was selling a lot of those, including a lot of children's VHS that I found not long before the market, and selling everything, $2. If I got it for $1, I'm making like $1 on it. I'm not making like tons of money for these, but it was just fun to have some inventory like that. And so one girl walked by, she said, "Who watches VHS anymore?" I'm like, man, and that just bummed me out because the event hadn't really started yet, and I'm like, oh no one's going to buy anything from me. But of course that wasn't the case at all. Once the event started, it was like gangbusters. It was like nonstop. People were just giving me cash, Venmo, Cash App. A lot of younger people I found are using Cash App. Not that older people are using Venmo or anything. It was kind of a mix, but I had most people use Cash App. And so definitely if you're gonna do one of these things, get Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. The only one I don't do is Zelle. You can get scammed easier with Zelle. I don't know how frequent it is, but I think you can send somebody, if they can send you money, but if you send it back to them, I don't know. I've heard of more scams, and Clark Howard says not to use it, so I trust him.
Problem is, and this is why the U.S. Senate is doing hearings right now about what they're going to do about the problems with Zelle, is that there are no consumer protections at all.
I did forget my sign that says the Thrift Raider on it, which was, I almost had my husband go back for it, because honestly, this pop-up wasn't too far from my house. It was only like, it's maybe 3-4 miles at most, and so it's pretty close to the house. So I almost made him go back. I said, you know what, I have so many people here, just help me with this. It's just something that, I really need to remember that sign though. It was in a box right by the rest of my stuff. I don't know why I didn't take it. I also forgot DVDs, and of course one of the first things someone said is, do you have DVDs? And I'm like, no, I left them at home. Food there was only one option for food, which is weird because the article that came out like a couple days later said thrifting, food, and I'm like, there was one food option, and it was very good. Like, they had burgers. I think they ran out of fries by the time we got some, but it was like a $15 burger. And so we paid $15 for the food, but that's okay. If you don't want to pay crazy money, you need to bring your own food. Bring a cooler or something. That might be something I can explore in the future for sure. I ran out of bags, which I should have brought some plastic bags, but I was trying to bring reusable bags that I kind of pick up here and there, and those all went very, very quickly. And towards the end, somebody bought several VHS from me. Yes, someone bought VHS, even though someone said, who buys VHS? And I didn't have a bag for them, and so he kind of had to buy them and come back, and anyway. So that's one mistake I hopefully will correct for the future. I'll have my reusable bags and then some plastic bags just for backup, even though I don't love using them. I will tell you, the last hour that we were there, the 11 to midnight hour, I made $10 whole. So even though I did great, the money all came from the first 5 hours. So I probably could have packed up. Another vendor was saying that somebody told them that they wished it stayed open longer because, and he's like, well, we could have made more money if we could stay out longer. I'm like, I made $10 in the last hour. Maybe he made more money, but I made $10. So I could have probably packed up at the 5th hour. But 11 o'clock is kind of a weird time. 12 made sense. I'm glad I was out there. It kind of gave me time to kind of decompress because for 5 hours, it was just that busy. And I had a lot of fun talking to people, especially the people who were into the VHS. A lot of people liked, I will tell you, a lot of people like the mainstream releases, like the Child's Play, the It, anything I had that people really knew. The less mainstream stuff did not do as well, even though they were only like $5 a piece, maybe less. Those didn't do that well. So here's a short list. This isn't everything I sold, but this is kind of the things that people were buying. Someone bought the 2 brass sea lions or seals. I don't really know what they were. I had one for $3, one for $5, thinking someone would buy both. They bought them separately. Again, I think this crowd, I'm glad I had a lot of smalls because this crowd didn't seem to buy like tons at a time. It was kind of like little things, 5, 10, 15, which is kind of my, I don't have a lot of stuff that's like 50, $100, most of my stuff is in that price range. So it was kind of perfect. I had 2 60s Playboys left and I sold both of those for $10. Now I probably wouldn't have gone above 10. And recently I went to a store, when I was in Milwaukee, I saw somebody selling 60s Playboys for $10 as well. So I'm wondering if that's just like the going rate. If I had other Playboys, I probably would just sell them for $5. I also had a totally free to me Playboy book from the 70s that my husband had brought home. He works at the library, and so he just kind of like the things that they don't use or whatever are just going to be thrown out, and so he's not stealing from the library. Some things that are just going to be thrown out anyway, they can't use. Sometimes he'll bring me something here and there, if I can use it. But yeah, that sold for $5. There was also a book that I found at a thrift store that was really funny to me. It was a very serious book about how to make an ID on your home computer. I thought it was hilarious. I got it for less than $1, maybe 50 cents. And I sold that for $5. So that was really fun. Sorry, I'm getting notifications from fast food restaurants. So I did sell lots of CDs, my Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails. I had a lot of industrial from this guy that I bought this CD collection from. All of that is gone. I think I have a couple of Ministry CDs left, and that's about it. But the one Nirvana CD I had is gone. Nine Inch Nails, I don't have any more of that. I'm out of like the more popular bands. I do have like I think a stack and a half of maybe lesser known stuff, or if they're known, maybe people just didn't want to pay the $3, $5 prices. So for the next pop-up I do, I think I'm gonna lower those prices. Yeah, so my CDs did very, very well. I think people really liked looking through those. I didn't have any vinyl. I just haven't run across any at all recently. I sold, I don't know if you saw the stuffed animal Goodwill blue box that I got kind of recently. I got 2 pound puppies in it. Would not sell online for nothing. Well, I mean, they weren't on, I guess, that long, but I feel like they would have sold easy or more quick. And I think I did get an offer on eBay for $20, but I would have had to pay the, fees and everything. But someone bought both of them separately for $10 a piece. So I made 20 on those. So I almost made my money back on that stuffed animal box. There's a few more that I think I need to sell in person to really get those sales in. And I think I'm just going to probably just, what do you say? Like, I think it's just going to be an even thing. Like, I'm not going to make tons of money off of that box or anything. Okay, so I had a couple of teen magazines that I got for very, very cheap. I got like 4 of them for $5. I sold each one for $10. So I've sold 1 online, 2 in person, and I have 1 left. And so those have sold really, really well. And they were from like the mid 90s. So perfect for this crowd. I sold 2 Farside mugs, one for $3 because it had a slight crack, and then the other one for $5. So $8. I sold lots of VHS. I just don't remember all the one. I know I sold Child's Play for $30. I sold a Bratz one. So if you see Bratz VHS, they didn't make a ton of them. So I think there's only a couple out there. Definitely pick that up. The one thing that I thought would go like really well is the vintage stickers. I had Mrs. Grossman stickers, and they didn't really sell as... They did sell. A couple or maybe several people picked up, because I had them for like $1, $2, and then $5 for like a big sheet, and they just didn't sell as well as I thought they would, I guess, especially for them being $1 and them being from the 80s and 90s. But they do sell very well online, and I just haven't put them all online. So that may be more of an online thing. I feel like the Mrs. Grossman thing, it's not like Lisa Frank or Sandy Line or anything like that. It's just Mrs. Grossman. I never even knew that name growing up. So it's not as known of a brand, especially to kids nowadays. I just kind of have to say, hey, I swear they're vintage. The clothing that I sold, I did sell a My Chemical Romance for way too cheap, but I knew I was selling it kind of cheap. I didn't know how much someone would pay in person, but tons of people had like crazy shirts for like lots more than I was selling for. So I sold a My Chemical Romance for $15. I had it for $20, and the only thing is, it was like an extra small. It was super small, and I'm like, I need a certain person to look at it and like be like, oh, I can fit in that. And that person came along. That was perfect. Only thing is, they asked me to go down on the price. I probably shouldn't have, especially since that image on there, it was definitely from like the time when they were, at their peak. And it was kind of a rare, I guess, graphic. You just don't see a lot. So it is what it is. I mean, how much could I have made online? Maybe 60 or 70. It's not that big a deal. Money isn't everything. Sometimes I just want to have things that people want at my pop-up sales. A lot of the times I can get more money online. Sometimes just being there in person makes the sale. Does that make any sense? Like, some things do better online, some things do better in person, I guess. I had a Green Day shirt, kind of a modern Green Day shirt, but they did do the Super Bowl. I knew that would sell. Shirts that had like edgy sayings on them. I had a couple of like Bush era shirts, and those sold pretty well. Jazz Fest shirts all sold. I had a really cool purple one, and I think I had put it online, but it wasn't selling. And I had a yellow one that was kind of a small, that sold, and I had a white one that was not, they just weren't selling online, but in person they sold like really well. I had a jean jacket that had Monopoly on the back. It was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like graffiti-esque or whatever. It was official Monopoly though, and somebody bought that for $15. I think I picked it up for maybe $7 or $8, so I'm not making a ton of money off these clothes in general. I wanted to have clothing that was affordable, like vintage and clothing that was really affordable. I had a Sabrina Carpenter t-shirt. I knew that was gonna go. I did get stuck with some lesser note, but I also I know a lot of people at these things put like a $5 pile, and I might do that. I might increase the price, but some of these shirts I found just for free. Like I found some of them on the side of the road. They were in bins, but I found them on the side of the road, and they were from like bands that I don't really know. So I just put them in there for $1 because they're like folk writer or folk singer bands or singers, and I don't think anybody would really know them because they were like a local band from around here, local singer from around here. And so those I threw in a $1 pile and just let people go through it. And that was really successful. I didn't have many left over. I had a couple things from my sister even that like Invader Zim shirt that was like very like, that was probably worth a lot more than $1, but it was very like, it had holes in it. It had like a lot of fading. And I know people like that thrashed look, but you know, I was like, let's just throw it in, and it sold. So my total for the entire time was $720. That's what I made total, and then the pop-up was $15. We also bought food, so that was $15. I think the only other thing I bought for this one was maybe a new tablecloth for like $1 or something. But no, I think I used the last one, so I didn't spend any money on that. So I didn't spend any other money for this one in particular. I just used things that I had around the house. I think the little generator I used it for my last couple pop-ups, and that's been very, very useful. I'm glad I asked her that for a present one year, and now I've got to fly. Okay, so I wish I would have brought more of my stuff. I did have more stuff. I had some Monster High dolls, but they weren't vintage, and I just didn't know if it would fit the overall theme. I definitely should have brought them. I could have probably made $10 off of each of them. I just didn't know. I was kind of thinking maybe I should, but in the end I didn't, and now I still have them. I just put them online, so we'll see. I did find it hard to price everything, just because like at the last minute, a lot of my stuff was priced, but I don't know, I was kind of like, what else should I bring? Oh, maybe I should, put a price on this. So it was kind of hectic at the last minute. I think I should have loaded up the night before, but I just kind of thought I had like all of this time before 4 o'clock, which was load-in time. And that time went by really quickly. So, but I still did great. I am not unhappy with that number. My numbers are usually looking more like a $300 to $500, sometimes under $300. So $700 is amazing. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoy the little cuts of us at the market, and especially the Thrift Bus, which I thought was a really cool idea. It's some 16-year-old decided to buy a bus and put all of his thrift finds in there and tour around and sell stuff out of it. That's a crazy cool idea. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you got some tips out of it. Let me know if you do markets or if you are kind of thinking about it. Yeah, comment, subscribe, all the things. Thanks so much. Bye.
It's a big strip, right? Like I thought it was a big strip.
It is.
Parking lot?
But no.
Is it walkable?
No. It is a strip through the fucking mountain. So it's a
Just doing a little walkthrough right now. Got a big vendor over here.
I'll pass it on.
This is probably the biggest vintage Baton Rouge market I've ever seen. There's a payphone. Someone using the payphone. I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, there's a bus with vintage on it. I need to get on it. Let me just go ahead and do that. Can I get some video?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Oh man, it's been a long night. This is so cool. liquid blue Grateful Dead. This is pretty sweet. So what do y'all do back here? Y'all just take the money, I guess, back here? Or, okay, cool. Oh, I love y'all's setup. All right, let's get off the bus. Thank you. Here's the rest of the market. This one's pretty dark. Got M&M. So I think some people are starting to pack up. It's kind of the end of the night. This goes till midnight, but what is that? I think it's Michael Jackson. It's hard to see. Very cool. George Strait. That's awesome. Some LSU gear. I like this little setup. Hey, how you doing? Clueless. It's a cute little setup. Bratz doll. My Bratz VHS was one of the first that went. I knew somebody was gonna like that. All right, yeah, we got some people setting up. We got jewelry over here. And we got one in the back over here. I think I would have hated to be all the way back here. You got to kind of walk through some mud, but they've got some neat stuff. I think he might be packing up too. I think everyone made some pretty good money. There's a Snoopy skateboard. It's pretty sick. I really like this shirt right here, this Masterpiece Emerda. No Limit Soldiers. I do like some No Limit. People came up here with some fashion. That's an awesome coat. Some ladies' clothes over here. I think we're starting to pack up. I really like this. Plus size. I need to get some better signage for sure. Oh, this is a good idea. Probably like discount stuff. We can dig for a second. The Players Championship. Yeah, I'm really not seeing anything. I like the graphic tees, of course. I'm just not seeing a bunch. And I'm freezing out here. Let's see, Championship New Orleans. I wonder if Blake would like that. My husband. I don't know. I really try to do a good job in not spending money when I'm trying to make money. Unless I really want something. Got some cute bags up here. I'm surprised this cherry one didn't sell. I had a couple bags that I tried to put up, but it just didn't end up happening. Excuse me. I think I went a wrong way. Okay, I think we're back at the bus. So we're just going back around right now. I don't know if there's anything else to look at, really. The North Face, I'm surprised that's still here. But Louisiana is about to get kind of really warm, and so jackets and stuff probably don't sell that well around here. There was something here. There's a TV, but I don't know what that was. But anyway, and here is the other bus. That's like actually the food bus where you get food, and they are inside of the bar. So if you were under 21, you actually could not get food, which I think that was a bad move. But it wasn't, I mean, it's something that can be corrected. They can get a food truck next time, if possible. I don't even know if it was possible. Maybe they did think of that and they just couldn't do it. Yeah, anyway, we are coming back to my booth here. This is Jack next to me. And this is Lucy. This is, hey Blake. Lucy, what are you putting up? Just some DVDs? You're kind of packing up everything, huh? There's some people in the back packing up too. It's not just you. Yeah. I really like this bag.
Please take it for Christina if you think she'd like it.
I'll pay you for it.
Yeah,